Hey roguelike fans, it is the end of March, so time to look forward to April and see which games are likely to warrant your attention. Remember that death is only just the beginning, and here's my list of the most promising looking upcoming roguelike titles in April. If you like the video, subscribing sure helps me out. Let's start with the very intense looking co-op game called Gatekeeper. In this top-down shooter game, you have the chance to play solo or with friends as you explore different planets to try and retrieve the heart of the universe that has been stolen. There's sci-fi elements at play alongside some pretty interesting looking enemies and bosses and over 100 collectibles scattered around planets to try and find. The developers of this game clearly love dark, atmospheric locations which showcase very bright looking abilities and animation effects. Gatekeeper is still listed as a planned release in April, although Steam hasn't got an exact date yet, so keep an eye out for an announcement or a delay pretty soon. We're moving on now to Quit Today, the next comedic style roguelike game that is taking aim at office style problems in a story in which your colleagues have turned on you. There's only one option at play here: defeat the company and quit your job. There's some very unique retro cartoonish visuals to play through with 2D beat 'em up style gameplay, and you'll be choosing random skills and resources to upgrade on each playthrough and meet friends who brighten your day in this dark and gloomy corporate world. Quit Today is one of the lighter style games in this list and releases on the 3rd of April. It wouldn't be a roguelike video without at least a few card-based deck building games, and Throne of Bone, no giggles with that name, offers one of the options in April. You play as a necromancer, just your usual day job, and it turns out there are a few amount of people who don't like that, so you're going to be using cards to defeat those who oppose you. Throne of Bones is an auto-battler, so watch your minions do their work, but you do have the ability to cast spells during fights to turn the tide. There's over 50 minions to build your deck from, and some storyline about your endeavours to reclaim your castle, and Throne of Bones is releasing on the 8th of April. Lotus Lantern is your classic top-down action roguelike game with crazy abilities and animations to indulge in, mixed in with some constant upgrades or blessings that you can choose in your playthrough. Based around Chinese mythology about our main character's mission to rescue their mother after training martial arts with the famous Sun Wukong. There's actually another Wukong-based game coming out this year. You might have heard about it. As you play through, you will have the ability to collect treasure and then use it to combine into items that change your playthrough style. The graphics look great, and there's random events to encounter alongside a bunch of characters you might recognize from Chinese mythology. Lotus Lantern Rescue Mother releases on the 12th of April. Ants Took My Eyeball could well be the hidden gem from April's list of games. A gritty pixel art platforming game with crazy action and the ability to play with friends in co-op mode. This is a classic 2D action game with lots of guns, trinkets and gadgets to loot, and procedurally generated levels all set within an anthill, because as the name suggested, those annoying ants have stolen your eyeball. There's some familiar style roguelike mechanics at play, such as the ability to upgrade your base, which gives your next run a little boost, and permanent unlocks to find within the anthill. I'm particularly swayed by these style of games, and definitely this sits inside my wheelhouse, so I am overly optimistic that this one will be awesome. Ants Took My Eyeball releases on the 20th of April. Shadow of Depth is a title I've had in the interesting basket for quite some time. You can't deny that the hand-drawn visuals look nice, and the top-down perspective offers a change of style compared to a lot of the roguelike games that I've been playing recently. It looks similar, but just a little bit different. This game is set within a dark world in which you will need to explore a labyrinth that just happens to be full of monsters and zombies. You know those types of places. There are 5 different characters of which you can choose from, which follow your normal class style choices such as warrior, hunter, sorcerer, etc. Each have their own set of abilities and characteristics which will make gameplay a little more unique. Shadow of the Depth releases in the later part of the month on the 23rd of April. Here comes the latest in the long run of Vampire Survivor style roguelike games, which are definitely the flavour of the month in this space right now. This game is called Fight to the Death and looks to have pretty simple automated battling mechanics in which you will focus on your movement and upgrades with a bunch of different characters and upgrades to manage your way through. I wouldn't put this game as the most promising in the video, but if you are keen for some more fast-paced action like this, Fight to the Death comes out on the 30th of April. Tendryll is a tactical action roguelike game that mixes in some card-based mechanics to make it a very intriguing title releasing at some point in the month of April. Yes, this is yet another game without an exact date. This game definitely sits in the strategy genre with a lot of tweaking required for you to survive the gauntlet and make it past the Tendryll. There are different heroes to choose from that have their own deck features and unique attacks and skills to coordinate on the battlefield. This is one of those games that requires you to think your way through, with over 170 cards to play with and 115 relics to equip. I'm predicting that Tendryll will get some decent attention when it releases and might be a game for the more hardcore tactic roguelike fans. I love some of the quirky indie titles that pop up when doing some searching for upcoming games, and Combo Card Clashes definitely fits that bill. It kind of looks like a mobile style game with some simple character design and animations, and could be a fun little release, once again with no definite date, but sometime in April. This is a deck building roguelite that has auto battling mechanics in which you can play cards and build combinations, as well as recruit monsters to battle it out on the field with you. There are 3 heroes to choose from, each with their own different starting deck, and the ability to level up and learn skills as you progress through. I'm going to finish off with another title that I think looks very quirky, and to be honest, I just really like the trailer, so it's worth checking out. It's called The Braves, and is your go-to if you're looking for the ability to kill a ridiculous amount of enemies that are taking up pretty much every pixel on your screen. This is another vampire survivor style game with a bunch of different characters to choose from, and weapons and skill combinations to challenge yourself with. Some cute and simplistic art design is at play here, and as seems to be the big theme for roguelike games coming out in April, no specific date listed yet, but sometime in the month. Keep an eye out on the Steam page if The Braves is a game that suits your fancy. That is 10 games in this video, which I believe could well be a record for the most amount of titles that I've covered inside one video. If you're still here, subscribing and leaving a comment is completely free, but helps in keeping the channel going. Until next time, keep building upon your deaths, starting up another run, and searching for the best RNG that you can possibly find.